Hello, everybody. Happy holidays to you. How's everybody doing this Friday? If you find yourself here, then you should know you're watching the Junk You Should Know show. And I'm Dr. Heather Denniston. And our subject matter today is gratitude, but not just, hey, do a gratitude journal. No, we're going to talk about the health impacts of gratitude. And it is fascinating. There have been numerous studies on gratitude and how it impacts our health. If you sign on, please say hello. Let me know where you're from and let me know what you're thankful for. Be specific. If you say family, name them. If you say your health, then what specifically about your health are you grateful for? I want to know today. Let's get the conversation going down below. Change Cave is our sponsor for the Junk You Should Know show, and the Change Cave is a 12-module online learning institute that inspires first steps and ignites passion in women over 40 ready to up their wellness game. And we are heading into module 10. And the good thing about Change Cave is you can come in on any module because they're all standalone. And we have such a great community of women who interact in a private Facebook group, and we are so supportive of each other. We come along aside each other with our wellness aspirations. And so please click the link that I'll leave in the comments and find out more about the Change Cave, because as we finish up this year, I bet you're thinking about wellness shifts you want to make next year, and the Change Cave can help you do that. So let's get started. Gratitude, for some reason, was heavy on my mind this month. And so in the Change Cave, we did a gratitude challenge. We did a 30-day challenge where we printed off a PDF and listed 30 people we wanted to say thank you to. And you could do that via email or text or call them or meet them in person, however you wanted to do it. And then you would check complete when you were done. And the goal was that by December 31st, you would get through 30 people. And it got me thinking a lot about, gratitude has kind of become a bit of a buzzword the last few years with the 5-Minute Journal and a couple other different journals who included that in their daily rituals. And so why? Why is it important? Why does it matter? Well, to define gratitude, it is the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for, and to return kindness. And it's kind of a big deal. And it's like, why do we really need to talk about this? Aren't we all just sort of born with an innate sense of gratitude? Well, no, we're not. And you might have found that with certain people in your life. There are some people who just naturally are looking for opportunities to be grateful constantly. And then there are others who are negative Nellies and perhaps don't find those golden nuggets in amongst all the dirt, and might have a little harder time being grateful and thankful for the things and the people going on around them. I'd like to know which you are. Are you naturally grateful, or do you have to work for it? Okay, so we want to talk about how gratitude impacts our health, but I want to mention first that there's good news, because even if you are a negative Nelly, gratitude can be practiced. It's a skill, and like all skills, when you repeat it, it increases the propensity with which you will probably do it again. So skill builds skill, and that is very, very true for gratitude. So as we practice it, we get better at it. It becomes more natural. It becomes a slickly carved brain pathway that when we are in a situation, we immediately look for what we're thankful for. So that is good news, because sometimes if we feel like we have a tendency to kind of be negative or not be optimistic, it can be also very negatively health impacting, right? So let's talk about what gratitude is not. It's not indebtedness, which we are right to avoid. Indebtedness is a negative emotion which carries an assumption of repayment. Gratitude, there is no repayment. We give away freely. We don't expect a return, and it doesn't cost us anything. And that's the second thing that gratitude is not, is it does not result in weakness. I know some people, I think, subconsciously feel that when they are grateful or when they show gratitude to someone else or they're thankful, somehow it takes away from themselves and makes them less in some way, which of course it does not. And I know when we think about that consciously, it's obvious, but we need to kind of watch when we feel led to be grateful and we don't follow through on that. Why aren't we following through? Make sure you say hello when you sign on. And let me know, where you're from and what you're grateful for. Okay, so I had a card arrive to me about a year ago. No, it's more than that, about 18 months ago. And it was from a young woman named Erin. And Erin, if you're watching, shout out. And she was a previous employee of mine. And several years after we worked together, she wrote me a card about what I meant to her as a boss, as a friend, and it was detailed, it was long, it was specific, it was loving and kind, and it moved me to my core. So much so that I kept that card on my night table for a year. And now it resides in my jewelry box with other valuable things. And so that, and I've had other things sort of like that. For some reason, that one really got me thinking about how impactful gratitude can be. Well, let's talk about health benefits, but on the tails of that story, I want you to think about the health benefits that are yours when you show gratitude also become someone else's when you bring another person in on your gratitude, when you actually tell somebody specifically what you're thankful for and you're not just writing it in a journal or keeping it to yourself. So as we go through this, I want to be sure that you're thinking about not only being grateful for your health and your family, but how can you share that with somebody else? Okay, I've got my cheat sheet of stats here, because as I told you at the beginning, there are a lot of awesome studies on gratitude, and I'm going to be referencing those, and I'm not going to bore you. And actually, we're going to keep this nice and short and sweet, because I'm sure all of you have holiday things that you are needing to be doing. And so we will keep it short and sweet. So number one, gratitude reduces stress hormone, cortisol up to 23%. That's awesome, because most of us are way in cortisol dominance. We're using way too much fight or flight response in our bodies, and anything we can do to reduce that, and if it's a little thank you every day, wonderful, costs you nothing, right? Number two, improves sleep. It not only improves sleep, but it improves two parts of sleep. It improves fall asleep time and stay asleep time. This typically is in people who keep a gratitude journal at night before they go to bed. It works the best there. But even if you're just lying in bed and you use that to fall asleep, is going through what you're thankful for, what you're grateful for, guess what? You're going to sleep better. Who doesn't want that? Decreased blood pressure. I'm referencing my study. It's a study called The Grateful Heart from 2004. No, it's not at all. It's Gratitude, Effects on Perspectives and Blood Pressure, 2007. And it talked about patients with hypertension were instructed to count their blessings once a week, significant decrease in their systolic blood pressure. Is that crazy? Well, not as crazy as losing weight, and that's another benefit. How can that be? How can you lose weight from gratitude? Well, one study tells us it's the counting blessings versus burdens study, and that is probably one of the most popular gratitude studies out there. It's from 2003. Second finding was a 19% increase in exercise in those who were instructed to keep a gratitude journal. Why would that be? Well, practicing gratitude increases self-esteem, which makes us think more about ourselves, have more confidence in ourselves, which I think makes us want to take better care of ourselves. That's my philosophy. I'd be curious what yours is. So losing weight, one of my favorites about gratitude is it squashes the green monster. I love what this says. Showing gratitude can actually lower resentment and envy. It improves self-esteem by lowering social comparison. How cool is that? Just by a little bit of gratitude, thank you, that helps us become more self-confident. Okay, reducing depression. I think that one is right here. There was a stat here, and I'm not seeing it right now, but the depression one was interesting, and that actually leads to the next one, which helping overcome trauma. This was very cool. In a 2006 study in behavior research and therapy, researchers found that war veterans or military, Vietnam War veterans in particular was what the study was on, their PTSD was significantly lower if they rated high on a gratitude scale, on how grateful they were. They just dealt better with their trauma. A second study in 2003, published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, talked about those having been involved or suffered the terrorist attacks on September 11th. It says those that showed gratitude correlated with a major contributor to resilience and to recovering from that particular trauma. And so it says, recognizing all you have to be thankful for, even during the worst times of your life, fosters resilience. And so practicing, even in the darkest times, what can I possibly be grateful for, is essential for recovering from any kind of trauma. It makes memories happier. I liked this one. Those that practiced gratitude, maybe even had a new practice of gratitude, not only had their short-term memories reportedly more happy, but also it shifted previous memories that might have been rated as neutral or negative to positive. So makes memories happier. As you show gratitude, you're just kind of flooded and with happy hormones, and it kind of makes you recall things differently. I love that. Hello, whoever just checked in, please say hello. Build stronger relationships, of course. Kindness, empathy, grace, all of those things that gratitude nurtures and grows is going to help you build stronger relationships. I like the part about being addictive. Gratitude is also very addictive because it's a dopamine hit. It's a drug. The more we practice gratitude, the more we want to practice gratitude because it gets us that dopamine hit again. And so gratitude begets gratitude. It was funny, in this gratitude challenge that we did on the Change Cave, I wrote out my 30 people, and it took me a bit to write out my 30 people. But then I found the next week, people just kept popping into my head, just one after the other, of people I'd forgotten or people that I should be thanking. And it opened the floodgates. So gratitude begets gratitude. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes, the more you're going to want to. And so it's an incredibly powerful, free tool to improve your wellness. And finally, improves lifespan. Now, there hasn't been a single one study on this, but even just this little stats sheet, it shows 16% fewer pain symptoms from a gratitude practice, 19% more time exercising, 10% less physical pain, 8% more sleep, 25% increased sleep quality. Here's the depression stat I was looking for. 30% increase in depression symptoms in those who started and maintained a gratitude journal. That was fascinating to me. And they even lasted, if somebody stopped the gratitude journal, the improvement in their depression symptoms did last for a while, not long-term, but how amazing with such a hard to treat mental illness or condition as depression, the fact that starting a gratitude journal or a gratitude practice could have such a powerful effect. And so I want to read you a couple of quotes. No, I'm going to go through the how-to, okay? So we know that gratitude physically and mentally and emotionally is incredibly powerful. And let's just recap that in case you're just tuning in. So it reduces stress hormones. It improves sleep. It decreases blood pressure. It improves immune function. And I think I forgot to mention that one because it's often linked with optimism, and optimism has a direct correlation with our immune function. And so gratitude can also improve immune function. Losing weight improves exercise, squashes the green monster, reduces depression, helps overcome trauma, is addictive, builds stronger relationships, and improves overall lifespan. So how do we do this? Well, you're in luck because there's many, many apps out there. There are free PDFs if you want to do a paper journal. The 5-minute journal is one that's really good. It's one you can just order online, and it includes a portion of your daily journaling is about gratitude. You can even just set yourself a trigger in your phone to maybe spend 2 minutes each day going through in your mind what you're grateful for. But like we said in the beginning, double the pleasure when you actually share it with somebody else. And so when you are practicing your gratitude, make sure a portion of that actually gets to a recipient. It does take discipline. It takes work. And one of my mentors, Todd Herman from the 90-Day Year, he has a thank you practice every morning. It's how he starts his day. He's got a little spot on his desk that has cards and envelopes and a seal and the right pen and stamps. And every morning he writes a thank you card. And it might be to his daughter, it might be to a colleague, it might be to somebody he's never even met before. And it might be somebody who's inspired him. And so he does that every day to start his day out right. And what a great way to set your mind into a positive tone for the day. So gratitude begets gratitude. When Brent and I were shopping for a Jeep recently, all of a sudden all we saw were Jeeps everywhere. And that's the same with gratitude. As we start to practice it, you're going to see opportunities everywhere, and take advantage of them, because the more you lay down track on that neural impulse to be grateful, the more it's going to grow and strengthen. Some quotes to finish with. There's several here that I think are really, really good. Number one, Wall Street Journal says this: if emotions could be bottled and sold, gratitude might be a controlled substance. Research shows that people who express thankfulness can experience a happiness high. That relates back to that dopamine, the addiction, the gratitude addiction that we talked about earlier. Melody Beattie says this: gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, and a stranger to a friend. David Steindl-Rast, and I'm going to put his his link below. Lovely, lovely TED Talk on gratitude, well worth the watch. And he talks about mindfulness, and he says it's not joy that makes us grateful, it's gratitude that makes us joyful. So true, as we have seen in some of the physical and mental impacts that I stated earlier in our show. Finally, if all you did was look for things to appreciate, you would live a joyous and spectacular life. That's Abraham Hicks. So I want to wish all of you guys a wonderful holiday week. I hope you enjoy family and friends. Remember to tell them specifically and with great detail what they mean to you and why you're grateful for them. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, 12 noon PST on the Junk You Should Know show. Again, I'm Dr. Heather Denniston, and I will put some pertinent links down below. So let's keep the conversation going in comments. I look forward to talking to you further. And until then, we'll see you next time. Have a wonderful holiday.